Welcome back, everybody. We're here to pull cards for May the 30th. I am going to be pulling one overall energy card, and then after that we're going to be pulling one card per sign. We'll just see what comes up, what comes out today. All right, overall energy card is Four of Pentacles. Well, at least it's not the same one we had the last 2 days, right? We'll take one that's a little different. So Four of Pentacles energy is just that energy of kind of holding back, sort of keeping things to yourself. This can be emotional because for me, Pentacles indicates energy in general. Money is just one form of energy. It's the easiest form for us to quantify. So you could be holding back financially, or you could be holding back emotionally. So you could be putting some money in savings, stashing something back. Doesn't even have to be money. It could be something else that's tangible that you're stashing away for the future. Or like I said, you could be holding on to your feelings and not being very open with how you're feeling about things today. So we've got both there. Really interesting. The key is right there in her lap to that chest. So anybody could really just walk up and, take that key pretty easily. It's interesting. She's holding on to the money, but not necessarily the key. Don't you think that's kind of an interesting symbolism there? I do. All right, Aries. What you guys have showing up is the Fool card in reverse. Fool card in reverse just tells me that you have a situation in your life with this overall energy where you've been holding back on something. You've been keeping some finances back, keeping some resources back, or maybe you just haven't been sharing your feelings. And it looks to me like today you're sort of evaluating that situation. You're looking at, is this really the best way for me to be moving forward? Is this a good thing for me to not be sharing like this? And it looks to me like after some deliberation, you're deciding that, yes, actually, this is in your highest and best interest to be holding back. That's your take on it. And we see you moving forward in that way. In other words, we see you reevaluating the situation and you're deciding that, you know what? I like what I'm doing here. I'm not going to make any changes. So maybe you're saving back for a big purchase and you're realizing, you know what, I haven't made that big purchase yet. I got to keep saving. Could be something like that going on as well. So, it's going to manifest differently for each and every one of you. I would love to have your feedback down in the comments below if you feel open enough to share some of that. Taurus. Ace of Swords showing up in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. This talks about the idea that you have good information that you could pass along to some people in your sphere of influence. I think you're very aware of that fact and you're very aware that they could use that information. There is something going on here with this overall energy where you're holding back on sharing that information. You're not doing it. You could very easily, but you're not. And there may be extenuating reasons for this. It may be that other person really doesn't want your advice, doesn't want advice at all maybe. Or it could be that you feel like you're in a competitive situation with this other person. So if you don't share some information, then that helps you have an edge up. So there's something going on here where you are definitely holding back on information that would be beneficial to somebody in your sphere of influence. Okay? Now let's look at Gemini. So Geminis, you guys have the Emperor in reverse showing up here. Excuse me. Emperor in reverse is my person who has strong narcissistic tendencies. They don't tell the truth unless it suits them. They can be very manipulating. They can do the gaslighting. They can have a zillion and one different boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever the case may be. They just can't get enough attention. And so when we see this person showing up in your sphere of influence, this just means you're having some type of interaction with them. But with our overall energy being that Four of Coins, which talks about holding back something, this person could be asking you for money or for financial support, and you would be saying, no, I'm sorry. I'm saving for something else and I can't interrupt that savings to help you. Or they could be wanting to talk to you or interact with you about just about anything, and you're holding back. You're not getting emotionally involved with this person, probably because you know their number and you know that it's not very good for you to do that. It's not very healthy on you to do that. So you've got a narcissist showing up in your sphere of influence and you're holding back. You're not playing their games today, so to speak. Okay? So that was for Gemini. Next up we're looking at Cancer. Cancers, you guys have the moon coming up here. This is telling me that there's some kind of truth coming out in your life, and it's coming out in a way that, you're not really digging for it. It's actually just coming up organically. And I think that once you find out this detail, this truth, whatever this truth is, I don't think that you're sharing it with anybody else with this Four of Pentacles. I think you're keeping that information to yourself. A lot of different reasons this could be happening, but definitely keeping some new information or a new truth that has come to the surface to yourself. Okay, so that's for Cancers. Next up, we're looking at Leo. So Leos, we have the Magician showing up for you in reverse. Magician in reverse. Okay, so Leos, this tells me that you are trying to manifest something, hoping to manifest something, but you're also afraid of manifesting something. If not on a conscious level, then definitely on a subconscious level, because we see you holding back on putting energy and effort into that. So I don't know if I want to say you're all talk and no bark. All talk and no bite, I mean. All bark and no bite. But definitely there's something that you want to manifest here. Maybe you're not even talking about it, but you're manifesting exactly the opposite of what you want to. And the reason you're manifesting exactly the opposite of what you want to is because you're not really putting any energy or effort into actually making this manifestation happen. Feminine effort or masculine version of effort, either one. You're holding back. You're holding back. You've got that key right there in your lap. You're not using it. I'm not sure why. Maybe you're afraid that if you... Oh, that's why. You're afraid that if you manifest this new thing, then you lose something else that's significant to you that you already have. You've got to get that sorted out. All right? You've got to get that sorted out so you can get unstuck. Next up, let's look at Virgo. Virgo. Devil card showing up for you. So Virgo, this is really telling me that you're doing some self-work here today. You're trying to keep yourself from getting into anything that normally would cause you to feel obsessed or anything that would feed any type of addiction. Anything that would feed any type of toxicity in your life. You may be trying to hold back from a toxic relationship. There's something going on here where you're being tempted to go into something that you know is the opposite of productive for you. And you're holding back from it. You're really making the effort to say, nope, not going there, not going there, not going there. Okay. Remember, though, the key is on the lap in this picture, which means that even though you can say you're not going there, just leaving, it's almost to me like saying that a part of you is trying not to go into this toxic situation, but another part of you is like, well, if you twist my arm, I'll do it. And so you're kind of leaving this ability for somebody to compel you into this toxic situation sort of on the table, and you're basically leaving it up to the other person's behaviors as to how you're going to handle the situation. If you really wanted to stay out of a toxic situation, you certainly would not enable somebody to have some type of thing to suck you in with, blackmail, temptation, whatever. You would not give them that key just sitting on your lap where they can just walk up and pick it up and be like, oh, you want the key? Well, follow me. Okay, who am I reading for? Virgo. So Virgos, it looks to me like you've got some kind of inner turmoil going on in here where a part of you wants to stay away and a part of you would be happy to be a part of this toxic thing as long as you can blame it on somebody else. Okay, so you want to really kind of examine that and figure out, what do you really want? Do you really want to participate in this toxic thing? Some of you might really want to, but you don't want anybody else to judge you for it. And then for others of you, do you really want to stay out of it? Because if you really want to stay away from this toxic thing, you're not going to be giving somebody an easy way to pull you into it. What are you going to do about that? You know? I think the saddest thing is to let other people determine what we do in life. That's the saddest thing. The happiest thing is freedom. Freedom to do what we want to do and what we need to do. All right, anyway, let me get off the soapbox. That was a deep one. My goodness, Virgo, you just gave me a workout. Next up, we're looking at Libra. Libra, Three of Cups showing up. And your energy with the overall being the Four of Pentacles. It looks to me like there's some kind of get-together of friends that you're invited to that if you go, you're not really participating in fully. But I think it's very likely that you may not even attend this get-together. Whether it's an online get-together, whether it's a get-together in person, I just see you kind of holding back from enjoying your friends. Okay. Next up, let's look at who's next. Scorpio. The Lovers showing up in reverse. Isn't that interesting how the card has the forbidden fruit right in the middle between the two of them? I need to feel around about this one. So Scorpios, when we have Lovers in reverse, that talks about this idea of not being on the same page with somebody else that we would consider a partner. Doesn't have to be a lover, doesn't even have to be a romantic partner. Can be anybody that we are trying to work together with and accomplish something. Can be a friend, can be a family member, can be a child if we're working together with them on a science project and we're really working together with them and not doing the project for them. Okay. So Lovers in reverse talks about not being on the same page with somebody that we would normally consider to be a partner. And it looks to me like with our overall energy being the Four of Pentacles, we've got a situation where we're not really sharing how we feel in this situation. We're sort of holding that back and keeping that to ourselves. We're not making it public knowledge how we feel about the idea that we're not getting along with this other person. Very scorpionic thing to do. We're not all about throwing our feelings up in public. We're very comfortable with our feelings. We'll tell you all about them if you're the person they pertain to, but we're not about throwing them all out in public. And this is what I see here. I see just holding back, not really talking about this. Maybe not even telling our friends that there's some type of problem happening. All right, that's Scorpio. Let's look at Sagittarius. Three of Pentacles showing up in reverse with the collective energy being the Four of Pentacles. Interesting. These cards really go together nicely. Three of Pentacles in reverse just means there's something that you thought you were going to collaborate with somebody else on, and now you're realizing, wrong answer. Probably that person is not able to bring everything to the table that they said they would be able to. So you're trying to figure out, should I reschedule? Should I just take this all on myself? I think with this Four of Pentacles coming up in the collective, I think what you're deciding is, you know what, that's okay. That's okay if this person can't do this with me. I'm going to go ahead and take responsibility, and I'm just going to handle the whole project by myself. So I think that's what you're doing here. You're just really focusing on getting whatever this is accomplished, whether there's anybody else in on the deal with you or not. Okay. All right, let's look at Capricorn. So Capricorns, you guys have the Seven of Cups showing up in reverse. Seven of Cups is telling me that you are very, very, very focused on something. And with this Four of Pentacles and the overall energy, right now you're really focused on saving your money, or you're really focused on holding back your emotions and not just spilling the beans about how you feel about something to just anybody in your sphere of influence. Okay? But this just says you're really focused on holding back, whether it's financial or emotional. That's a focus today. Okay? So that was who that was, Capricorn. Aquarius. You're up next with the wheel. Aquarius with the wheel showing up in reverse. What's happening here? Looks to me like you've got some friction in your sphere of influence. You've got somebody that is trying to make progress, in a way that does not feel very good to you. Feels good to them, doesn't feel good to you. It feels like you could be a side effect casualty of their progress. And I feel like you're holding back yourself. You're like, I am not going to be sucked into this situation and become a side effect just that fast to their progress. I'm not going to be, this is almost somebody making progress at all costs. It looks to me like the progress that they're trying to make, they're not really taking into account how that would impact you, or they just don't care how that would impact you. And so I feel like you're just kind of digging in your heels with that Four of Pentacles and the overall energy. I feel like you're digging in your heels and you're saying, you know, I'm not moving from where I am. I've got what I've got. I'm not letting you take it away from me. And as you are holding on to what you have, you want to be very aware that that doesn't draw your focus away from giving them the ability to take even more than what you're holding. Because that key is right there on your lap, totally unprotected in this card. Which tells me that unless you do something with your own free will, you're giving this person who's trying to progress forward at all costs, no matter who it hurts, you're giving this person the opportunity to do that and to take more from you than what they originally took from you by allowing them this key, this solution, this opportunity. Okay, so you want to be really, really careful about what you're focusing on, that you want to focus on the big picture, not the little picture today, whenever you're standing up for yourself. Okay, whether you're doing that with words, with actions, whatever. All right. That was who? That was Aquarius. Next up, we're looking at Pisces. So Pisces, you do have the Strength card showing up here. Pisces is, for me, the Strength card talks a lot about self-esteem, self-confidence, how you're viewing yourself in the world. And with this Four of Pentacles showing up here, This is telling me that you are really holding on to your self-esteem and your self-confidence, and kind of in spite of somebody else. You know, when we have self-esteem and self-confidence, we don't need to hold on to it so tight unless somebody is trying to convince us that, you know, we have no right to that self-esteem or self-confidence. You know, somebody's trying to convince us that we are less than. Okay. And so this just talks about really holding on to your self-esteem and self-confidence. Here's the problem that I see with this, for those of you who have Pisces placements. With this key being on this person's lap, it's very easy for somebody to just walk up and take, as I've mentioned for several of the other signs before. This tells me that you leave your self-confidence and your self-esteem many times to other people to decide. You don't protect it. So you really want to look at this idea of, yes, I am fighting to hold on to my self-confidence and self-esteem, but you know what? Am I letting other people have access to my self-confidence and self-esteem way too much? And what can I do to make sure that other people's opinions don't erode away my self-confidence and self-esteem? All right. So that's what I've got for everybody today. Thank you very much for being here. Everyone have a fantastic day. Peace out.